Alex Eala, she beat Swiatek on the way to get there. I mean, incredible performance, and she's just got this huge following in the...
Reports circulating in tennis media suggest that Iga Swiatek is looking to have Alex Eala as a practice partner ahead of Wimbledon, a development that has quickly become a major talking point in the sport. Eala, the 20-year-old Filipina ranked around world number 37, is being described as one of the few players currently pushing the defending Wimbledon champion in high-level preparation sessions, with some narratives linking this moment to Swiatek's recent Roland Garros setback. The discussion gained traction within days of those reports emerging, especially as analysts debate what it could mean for Wimbledon 2026 and whether Eala could be a serious threat if the two were to meet on grass, particularly given her strong performances on similar surfaces in past WTA events. The story also ties back to their longer tennis history, including Swiatek's graduation speech at the Rafa Nadal Academy in 2023 when Eala was still a teenager, followed by Eala's straight sets win over Swiatek at the Miami Open in 2025, a result often cited when discussing their evolving rivalry. While some analysts have previously questioned Eala's recent form and results across the clay season, others argue that her development trajectory is still strong and shaped by high-intensity training environments in Europe, especially after coaching changes within Swiatek's camp that have increased overlap in their training circuits. As speculation builds around Wimbledon, the tennis world continues to debate whether this emerging practice partnership signals respect, rivalry, or a preview of a much bigger competitive clash on the sport's biggest stage. The question of when the partnership would truly become visible was answered on April 4, 2026, when the Rafa Nadal Academy posted a photo of Iga Swiatek and Alex Eala side by side on its official Instagram account with the caption, "Reunited," a post that quickly drew tens of thousands of likes and immediate attention across the tennis world. The significance was not just the image itself, but who chose to publish it, the Academy, not the players' personal teams, effectively signaling institutional endorsement of a pairing that instantly became a talking point in elite tennis circles. Within weeks, that visibility turned into something more concrete, as Eala and Swiatek were seen practicing together at the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart, sharing center court sessions that were openly filmed and later uploaded online, where the clips accumulated significant viewership and reinforced how public the collaboration had become. Far from being hidden or discreet, these sessions were staged in full view of cameras, suggesting a deliberate willingness to showcase their work rather than conceal it. Additional appearances in Madrid and again at the Rafa Nadal Academy further strengthened the impression that this was not a one-off training hit but a recurring, structured partnership forming across multiple tournaments. The narrative gained even more weight after Swiatek's appearance at Roland Garros on her birthday, where she suffered a straight sets loss to Marta Kostyuk, a result that intensified scrutiny around her form and preparation heading into the grass season. In that context, attention turned sharply to the only recent practice partner repeatedly linked to her sessions, Alex Eala, the Filipina player who has already recorded a notable Grand Slam win over Swiatek in the past 18 months. Analysts like Greg Ruzetsky have fueled debate around whether this collaboration reflects a response to form concerns or a strategic alignment ahead of Wimbledon, but the emerging pattern across multiple tournaments suggests a consistent and intentional training relationship rather than coincidence. A key turning point in the discussion came from veteran Sky Sports analyst Greg Ruzetsky, a former Wimbledon quarterfinalist who has spent over 15 years covering elite tennis across generations from the Sampras, Agassi era to the present. Speaking on his podcast in April, he addressed the impact of Iga Swiatek's practice sessions with Alex Eala and was unusually direct in his assessment, stating that there was no question the experience was beneficial for Eala, emphasizing that she is testing herself against the very best and already proving she can compete with top-level players. He added a line that quickly resonated across tennis circles: "When you have Rafa as your advisor, it doesn't get any better," framing her development environment as one of the strongest in the sport. Taken together with his earlier comments about inconsistency and plateau concerns, the contrast highlights a split narrative, criticism of results on one side, and recognition of elite-level backing on the other, suggesting that her trajectory is still deeply tied to high-performance structures rather than decline. Within this context, Eala's schedule has only intensified the spotlight. She is set to enter Birmingham 125K as a top seed, opening against Priscilla Hahn, followed closely by Bad Homburg, where she is expected to feature in a grass-court doubles partnership with Venus Williams, a notable Wimbledon warm-up event used by many top players. Wimbledon's main draw then follows at the end of June, where speculation continues over potential matchups and whether these training and tournament links could eventually converge on the biggest stage. The broader significance being discussed is not just results, but representation and emergence. How a Filipina player has moved into elite training circles involving names like Swiatek, the Rafa Nadal Academy, and established legends of the game, marking a level of visibility that goes beyond rankings alone and into the center of global tennis attention. The idea that a single April moment settled anything in private is more narrative framing than verifiable fact. What can be said more groundedly is that Alex Eala's profile and expectations have shifted sharply within a short period, driven by a mix of results, visibility in elite training environments, and high-profile mentions in tennis media. Her Roland Garros first-round loss on May 26 to Eva Liss, a close peer on tour, was a setback in terms of result, but not unusual for a young player still transitioning into consistent Grand Slam performance. Eala herself publicly acknowledged the learning curve, emphasizing development and long-term progress rather than immediate outcomes. That kind of response is common among rising players trying to establish stability at the top level. At the same time, her repeated appearances in training contexts linked with top-tier players and academies, alongside the Rafa Nadal Academy environment and occasional high-level practice partners, has amplified perception of her ceiling even when match results fluctuate. This tension between results and perceived potential is what fuels much of the current debate. One side points to inconsistency and ranking stability, while the other highlights access to elite preparation environments and occasional breakthrough wins as evidence of long-term upside. Comparisons to Iga Swiatek, however, remain speculative in competitive terms. Swiatek's track record at Grand Slam level, consistency across surfaces, and sustained time at the top of the rankings place her in a fundamentally different performance bracket at present. Eala's development curve is still upward and unfinished, which makes any direct, who wins on a given day, framing inherently uncertain and heavily dependent on conditions, form, and draw context. So if they were to meet at Wimbledon, it wouldn't be a verdict already written in private sessions or media narratives. It would be decided in real time, under grass court conditions that historically reward experience, serve efficiency, and point construction under pressure. Everything else is interpretation layered on top of a still evolving competitive reality.